BHP After Dark. As always, I'm Benjo.
I'm B.
And it's episode 74, When Neighbors Attack, a Story of Kings.
You did it. Good job. How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm well. How about you?
Good, how you doing?
Benjo, I'm so sorry. You got a busted collarbone.
Yeah.
You know, happened.
Viewer discretion warning.
Yeah, look how bruised it still is. It's been, what, 2 weeks now?
Yeah.
Gosh.
Wait.
2 weeks ago? Because it was the Super Bowl. He was playing football during the football game. But you doing better now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's yes, sir.
I'll think about it.
Benjo, let's get into it. We've got several episodes that we're going to be able to cover, I think, pretty quickly here. One thing Jamie gets into in this episode is challenging the idea, the historical idea of there's three different northern Germanic tribes, the Angles, the Saxons, and the Jutes. And apparently, historically, it's been thought that the Angles settled more in the north.
The Angles merged with the Saxons to make the Anglo-Saxon.
That's right. And that the Saxons settled more in the south, and then the Jutes were also in the south, but also on the Isle of Wight right here. Okay. It seems like a very small, contained area. But anyway, Jamie challenges this idea that this is where each segment settled in Britain, okay? And, okay, this is going to be the moral of most of the next few episodes. I've got like 4 lined up for us to do. And the theme, which you've seen before.
Wait.
Oh,
Back.
What happened?
I had to do something real quick.
The light looks different.
Yeah, it looks better.
Yeah. So anyway, Benjo, if you recall in the last episode and possibly the last few episodes, one of the biggest themes was the Anglo-Saxon arrival in England an invasion, or with a genocide of the Brits, or was it a slow migration with possibly some battles and some hiccups, but mostly slow, generally assimilating migration? You know?
Yeah.
So that's what a big theme is. Jamie goes into detail a lot. And this is kind of along the same lines. We know that around this time in the 5th century, they began speaking Old English, which is a Germanic language. But the Welsh over here were still speaking Latin, which the Romans spoke when the Romans controlled.
Interesting.
Yeah. Also, we know that paganism, meaning either a belief in many gods or in something other than monotheistic God, that paganism came back with a fury, and that was the pre-Roman Christianity religion, and that this was the practice of Anglo-Saxons, paganism. A lot of these northern Germanic tribes had not been conquered by the Romano-Britons, while the southern ones, like the French, the Franks, had been, and they had been Christianized.
So
let's stop there. Any questions?
No, but I have a statement. I'm just
okay.
I'm going to guess out there. I'm guessing that Jamie says that dates aren't important, and that a lot of the dates are off this period. I mean, I'm just assuming he would say something like
yes,
that.
He does. He does. They don't call it the Dark Ages for nothing. Now, we certainly believe that Britain was more cultured than what we think of when we hear of Dark Ages, like everybody's just went back to being cavemen, right? But there is a lack of written record that it needs to be filled in through archaeology or whatever. But yes, Benjo, that is correct. But what you need to know is general themes, you know. So I'm going to try to keep the chronology as I understand it. do you recall whether we talked about Saint Germanus before? I think we did, right? He came. It looks like, and I had to look him up a little bit. He was a Frankish, uh, Germanic tribe type guy, right? Lived in Gaul or France, and he came over and visited Britain after the Roman withdrawal. So that had to have been after what year? What year did Rome withdraw?
200 and
You keep saying thousand.
208.
No, 410. Remember? All right.
Oh, yeah.
General themes. So anyway, he came over and he defended the Britons against the Anglo-Saxons, and God protected him in a fire when others' houses burned down. It was like this miracle, right? That may be why he became known as Saint Germanus.
I think the only reason I said 200 something is because I swear the Roman Empire fell like episodes and episodes ago.
It did, and this is
It just feels
this
like-
is and look, it's gonna get even like more drawn out once we have reliable sources, okay? But it is a lot about what happened after Rome withdrew. You are correct about that, and we did at one point, we did like 30 episodes at once because they were largely cultural episodes and
I thought-
Staffordshire horde episodes. You remember that?
You remember that?
I do. So anyway, Benjo, Saint Germanus came over, and again we understand that he defended the Britons against the Anglo-Saxons.
So he visited Britain after a withdrawal of Romans, and
He was a Frank. He was a Frank.
Oh.
Okay.
He
But
protected.
I just said this. What I'm just kind of recapping because what we're talking about is he was before Hengist and Horsa.
Mm-hmm.
So this is sometime in the early 400s, right? It sounds like the first half of the 400s, first half of the 5th century. Then Hengist and Horsa, who we've covered, remember?
Yeah.
Hengist and Horsa, maybe legendary. They come over. Then, okay, so then we've already talked about Hengist and Horsa. We're skipping ahead to Allah.
So we're not even okay.
All right. Allah arrives with 3 ships.
Any questions?
Do I have any questions for you? No, I'm good right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. So in 477, he comes over with 3 ships, and it's quiet.
It was for like 8 years.
Right. It was kind of quiet. And this is what we're trying to figure out was like, how much was this an invasion with battles to conquer?
And so then Allah fights with the Welsh.
Right.
So then we don't even know what's happening. It creates a Burnstead, and then there's 5 years of peace.
Right. And Allah besieges, after those 5 years of peace, Allah then besieges a fort. What does he do to everyone inside?
He kills everyone inside.
Right. And then what?
And then that's the last we hear.
Yeah. Now, Benjo, this is kind of important. Hengist was not one. Was not one. Horsa was not one. A guy I'm going to talk about in a minute, Churtich was not one. But Allah...
Wait, I need you to hear this. This is very important. Allah was one of 7
Bretwaldas. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So in the, I believe Bede gives us the Bretwaldas, and I'll confirm that right here.
You did that way too high. You need to lower your. Go get it. Come. Yeah, right there. Put it right there.
I will confirm who exactly named the Bretwaldas, okay? But the Bretwaldas were there were 7 legendary early Anglo-Saxon king-like people, although they weren't really kings like we think of them. They were probably more like war chiefs, okay, of local tribes, but prominent early kings, okay? And so Allah was one. And then Jamie tells a little bit about Allah, and we're going to get into a few dates with Allah. But Jamie it continues talking about whether it was a migration or an invasion, he mentions actually Anglo-Saxon refugees from Britain back on the continent. So it's like they recently migrated in, and then they became refugees.
Yeah, I would have thought that
the Britons would
be rather than
Britain
refugees.
Right.
I thought it would be Britain refugees.
Right. Jamie also gives examples of British communities
that traded in the South.
Right, that traded in the South.
Example: Cadbury Hill and Rotary.
Roxeter.
Roxeter.
Rotary. I got to know how you got Rotary. There's an X right there. But I think Jamie gives that example because it didn't seem like they needed the Anglo-Saxon invasion. They were trading with people on the continent on their own as a British community, right? So anyway, 5 years later, it sounds like 5 years, when we talk about 5 years later, 5 years after, it sounds like Allah besieged that fort, killed everyone, and then that's the last we heard of him. If I'm understanding the chronology, it's 5 years after that, Cherdich and his sons, one of them being Chinnerich, all right? Cherdich and Chinnerich, all right? Father and son, like if we went conquering somewhere.
That's like if you named me Brannerich.
Cherdich and Chinnerich. Not really, but kind of. Cherdich, again, is the father of the House of Wessex, but not listed as a Bretwalda. And Cherdich.
Why would they do that to him? Why would they ever do that to him?
They disrespected him.
They really did.
Because the House of Wessex is the King of England today traces his descent from Cherdich.
Hashtag justice for Cherdich.
Right. But look, that is if Cherdich wasn't, again, one of these legendary figures.
Like King Arthur?
Like potentially King Arthur, right?
I think he's real, and I think they really disrespected him. Go support my GoFundMe. Justice for Cherdich.
Justice for Cherdich. Well, 5 years after he shows up, 5 years after that Allah's, the last year we think of Allah, Cherdich and Sons, they show up and they defeat the Welsh. Then 5 years after that is potentially this, again, legendary battle with potentially Arthur, where Arthur defeats the Anglo-Saxons, puts them to flight at the Battle of Baden Hill, also not known as the Battle of Mons Badonicus. And Allah possibly was the one that led the Anglo-Saxons in this possible battle against possibly Arthur.
Okay.
A lot of possibilities there.
Yeah, it's like I don't even know what's gonna happen there.
Yeah, I don't know either. But we've got generally sporadic violence, but some silence in the record. Again, Jamie talks a lot about dispelling that myth. And that myth had been written extensively about by Gildas and Bede, but you have to remember they were not writing contemporaneously.
I don't like Gildas and Bede.
When I say not writing contemporaneously, what do I mean?
They're not writing a lot.
No, they're not writing at the time. Gildas and Bede are writing about this period, but they're writing decades, if not centuries later, respectively.
It's just like I don't like Gildas and Bede.
You don't?
No.
Well, they're very useful in giving us information.
Yeah,
we just don't know we can trust.
We can't trust them.
We certainly can't trust them for dates. And sounds like there is truth to a lot of their stuff, but you do have to.
So we think. I mean, I just don't think they're reliable.
Man, you're probably right, Benjo. But again, the Anglo-Saxons we talked about, they were northern British barbarians. Right, and so they were kind of different
they were on the Danish peninsula.
Right, so they were kind of cut off from the
Roman cultural influence.
That the southern Germanic tribes.
So they really didn't even know what was going on in Rome.
I'm not saying they didn't know what was going on, but they weren't They weren't
but there could have been
controlled by that culture as
okay,
much. You know what I mean?
I'm saying like there could be some newer culture in Roman. Oh, okay, so they're more free, is what you're saying.
They just weren't centralized, organized.
They're more Britishized.
Well, but we're not even talking about British. We're talking about the Anglo-Saxons from the north over here, okay? Versus the Anglo-Saxons or Germanic tribes from the south. Maybe not even Anglo-Saxons, just Germanic tribes. The Anglo-Saxons and the Jutes happen to be northern Germanic tribes, okay? So there is this theme, though, when during the 5th century, early 6th century, of downsizing from large Roman organizational structures to more decentralized structures, which again indicates that a slow migration of Anglo-Saxons. The Anglo-Saxons weren't the ones that were coming over. Well, I'm sure there was examples, but by and large they were rather poor, and they just flooded into.
They just came in swarms. They came in swarms. Like you see them, you don't even know what to do.
Whoa. That's a lot.
I mean,
but that was
that's what happened, though.
The 5th century and the 6th century.
That is what happened, though, right?
It is.
Like, it's like you see them and you don't even know what to do. Caught yourself lacking.
Well, Benjo, I sure enjoyed it. It's been great.
It's great having you on.
Having me on. I mean, I'm the co-host.
No, you're right.
And you're a super producer. This guy right here. This guy right here is a super producer.
He's a super.
I listened to another podcast where they have a guy they call the super producer. You're the super producer.
You're the super listener. I mean, it would not be possible without you because you write everything down. And
yeah.
everything,
You like my beard?
I love his beard.
Yeah. It's very red.
Yeah.
Scottish, northern British looking.
Do you have any Northern Britain in you?
Oh, yeah.
Any Scottish? Scottish?
Oh, yeah.
So do I have Northern Britain and Scottish in you?
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think
23andMe, what's up?
You think my beard will be even more red?
Even redder? Probably. Yeah. Benjo, till next time, big dog. Hope that arm gets better. The collarbone heals. Y'all have been great. It's been fun. I got booped. Shout out to Cole Kubala.
Shout out to Cole Kubala.
Later.
See you in the next episode.
Don't believe